All right, everyone, welcome to our weekly Essential Island Living team call. We have a super amazing guest speaker tonight. I'm so excited to have her share with us her doTERRA journey, and I'll talk a little bit more about her in a minute. But let's go ahead and get started with our oily protocol. So go ahead and grab an oil that's near to you, that's speaking to you, that's maybe what you are leaning on recently. And it's always nice to share. So Kate made me this pretty roller citrus bloom a while back. So that's what I'm going to use. Black spruce. Beth is going hard on the black spruce and I love it. So I need to get on that train. All right. So go ahead and put a few drops. Take some deep inhales. And if you wish, place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I am doing the best that I can. I am doing the best that I can. I am doing the best that I can. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. So before we dive into our weekly product ed, my mom is going to be sharing tonight, real quick, just an overview of the kids collection that we've been sharing a lot about. But just a reminder that convention tickets are still available. Swag boxes are on their way and being delivered. And be sure to, when you get your swag, to check out, this is the newly ranked recognition guide. We have quite a few new faces in here. Kanani and Kate as platinums, and Fraser, who we know just hit gold, but in here is a silver, and Aisha is in here as a gold. And am I missing anybody? I might be. There probably are some silvers as well that would have walked this year, huh? A ton of silvers, because all of Kate and Kanani's silvers. So exciting. So be sure to check that out. And yeah. All right, Mom, go ahead and take it away. Oh, the code Pursue5 is still good for $5 off, whether or not you just buy access, which is a $25 ticket with that $5 off, or get the swag box. So Pursue5 till the end of the month. Share convention is for everyone, not just builders, it's for customers. And so we want to get as many people there as possible. Okay, Mommy, your turn.
I wanted to just bring this up really quick. One of the things that Eliza said, well, why are you going to do the kids kit again? You know, we've been focusing on that a lot. And I have two reasons. One, I ran out of vetiver. And for some of you that know that I have gotten, my manic depression under control with a lot of our essential oils and our LLV. And the main thing is that I really use the vetiver, and I ran out of vetiver. And you know, vetiver is really thick and it's a big bottle, right? But that's how much I use vetiver. And it really speaks to me for my manic depression and basically to calm me. So when I was in the Facebook post, I saw that someone was mentioning Thinker, and it said vetiver in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have a kids kit at home. I can go use it. And so I busted out my kids kit, and see, it's still brand new. Everything's still cellophane. But the Thinker was actually a really great idea. And the reason for it is because I have a new worker in the office, and she's not really, liking the vetiver smell, right? So I put this on, and the way I use it is to put a dab of it under my nose, tip of my nose, and then also at the top crown of my head. And it actually lasted me for like 3 hours. So it was a really good, just a tip for you to use the kids' kits, especially if you're around other people that really don't, work well with the smells. The other reason why I really like it is because Tamer was in here, and my mom she's 86, and she likes what Digestin does. She doesn't necessarily like the smell. It's pretty strong. So the Tamer worked perfectly for her. Oh my gosh, she's so happy. So now I've lost one of my Tamers. So anyway, just to let you know that the kids kit is not just for kids. It's really a great idea just for you. And it's a great little case, opening it up. And again, the kit, it's already diluted. So it's great for our elders, like me. So that's what I like. Yes, I've been told I'm in the golden age. I'm in the golden years. I think that was Aisha that posted that. She didn't necessarily mean it for me, but yeah. Anyway, just letting you guys know, the kids collection is a great thing to have on hand for everyone in the household and to put in your car. So that's a quick share. I hope that's good enough, but it's a really important thing for me to share with you guys.
I kind of laid it on thick to my mom that it's like short and sweet, mom, short and sweet. So no, but that's such a great reminder. One, that the kids collection is for everyone. Share in the comments what your favorite kids blend is. For sure, mine is Motivate. I love the citruses and the mints.
Oh,
But
Fraser saying that she really loves the Thinker. Yay,
yeah.
Fraser.
So Thinker is one of our blends that is 15% off this month, as well as Intune and Motivate. And so did I say that Motivate was, what did I say? My favorite? I did, right? And I was like, wait a second, that's not one of the oils in the kitchen. You know why we've been talking about the emotional kit this week, right? So teacher mistake. Anyway, my favorite is actually, I love the Tamer as an alternative because I don't love the smell of fennel. So just a great reminder that the kids collection is for everyone, that it is more gentler oils. So like instead of peppermint, they use spearmint. And so for people that maybe smells are really strong, or for the golden year folks whose skin might be more sensitive, and obviously for our kiddos. And so the kids collection was formulated for ages 3 and up, but I know Kehao, she's been using the kids collection from day one on her newborn baby. And I know Kanani uses it all the time with baby Cody. And so love, love, love the kids collection. So we'll come back to the comments later. Be sure to check in there. But without further ado, I really want to turn it over to our special guest tonight. The reason why I told my mom to keep it short and sweet is because Hannah likes to go to bed early. This is pretty late for her, and she rises really early and really gets a head start on her day early. If you guys don't know who Hannah is, go ahead and look her up on Instagram. She has almost 600,000 followers. She is amazing. I mean, you guys saw all my posts. With her yoga and her practice, she's traveled the world, visiting over 50 countries. And what I just love about the fact that she's here on our team, one, I love about doTERRA that we all have such different stories. And so Hannah's story and my story in this business are obviously probably as polar opposite as they could get. But what I think is really amazing is that we got to connect through doTERRA with her moving to Maui. And she's so amazingly down to earth and humble and honest and full of integrity. And as you know, on this, even in this community, those are things that we value the most. So I'm so grateful that she's willing to take the time tonight to come and share with her team and talk to us a little bit about her story, and also about utilizing social media in her doTERRA journey. So without further ado, please help me welcome Hannah Holler to our team call tonight.
Hi, I'm gonna try to maybe turn on my light. If you guys get scared, I had a PRP facial, but I want you guys to be able to see me. But I'm very red. It looks like I have a sunburn, but at least you guys can like see my face and know who I am. Otherwise, I feel like you're gonna be just like looking at this black bulb. If you guys want me to turn it back off, though, let me know. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Eliza. I love that we've gotten to connect too. It just brings so much joy to my soul to be connected to someone here on Maui. I really hope that I get to meet a lot more of you. So if you guys see me around Maui, I hope you come up and say hello. That would be so nice for me. So I guess I'll just start with kind of filling you guys in on kind of where I came from and how I ended up here. I just want to first preface that with saying that I am not a business guru. I did not intentionally grow my following. All of this happened, and I know some people just want to throw rotten tomatoes at me on stage all day long. All of this happened really just with me following my passions and my curiosity. And I know that can sound cliche, but that's ultimately what I was doing. And that's why I don't have drip campaigns. I don't have email threads going. You won't catch me with sponsored ads. I don't have any of that. It's all been very organic. And I think that one of the main things that actually drew me into doTERRA was that I was trying to learn. So I kind of did this whole thing completely backwards. I got a massive following of people without really knowing what it would mean. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should like start turning this into a little bit of a monetary income stream because I'm just a yoga teacher and I'm pretty broke, to be quite honest. So that's really where it happened. Was I was teaching yoga, just a yoga teacher, didn't have any followers, started getting more followers, but it didn't really translate into like actual money for me for, I'd say, years. I was approached by a lot of companies that had really, really terrible products that wanted me to market them. And I was really, really against that. So I learned pretty quickly when I started acquiring my following that I wanted to work with companies that I actually loved and used, and that really translated to long-term partnerships or affiliate marketing. And when my friend Megan approached me about doTERRA, I already loved the oils, but no one had ever really approached me. I guess I'm sure there's some people that would be like in my DMs like, no, I totally tried to hit you up, but like maybe I didn't see them or didn't get to them, or I just wasn't approached maybe by a friend in that aspect. But my friend Megan, that lives in South Florida, I went to stay with her for a few days, and she was teaching me all about the oils and how to use them. And before, I had just been using them kind of as perfume. And then she showed me, I think she told me a little bit about kind of the earning potential. And I mean, must have had, about 600,000 followers then. This was only a year and a half ago. And I'm pretty sure she was making something like double what I was at the time. And I was traveling around the country, super burned out teaching. I was actually in Canada too on like a 50 city teaching tour, really tired. I was really over it. I'm like a super homebody. I just wanted to be able to stay home and still have a job. So I think that was also super appealing to me, but I really liked this idea that it's a lot of personal growth. It's like a personal growth. I don't know if you guys have heard that thing, but it's personal growth. I'm like stumbling here, but personal growth, something with a paycheck attached. And I was really into that. I was like, oh, I would really like to do more. I feel like I've been a little bit stagnant. I'm sure everybody on the internet would be like, stagnant, like she was not stagnant. But to me, it felt really stagnant. I felt like I needed to inspire change in myself. I was ready to take on more, do more for my community and my family. And I already loved the oil. So it was another product that I thought, oh, this can be another long-term partnership for me. I knew nothing about direct sales or multi-level marketing at all. I literally thought that it was pretty much affiliate marketing for the first probably few months. And anybody that kind of watched that journey, the first few months, were big months. Like, you have a lot of people following you. So it was such a blessing to have so many people jumping on board with me. And I also had no idea what it meant. You know, eventually I turned up at Diamond, I think 4 months after, and then I went to convention and they were throwing confetti and, you know, like they're like, Hannah, what do you say about all this? And I'm like, I really don't know what to say. Like, I really had no idea that this was going to be such a big deal. Or that it was going to be something that I was going to do super long term. And I think that it definitely brought on a lot of hurdles that I'm still facing now with my team, and why I offered my time to Eliza to help me with my organization. Because, you know, so many people look at, I think, my following and like that, and I'm sure there's lots of people talking behind the scenes like, oh, of course she's Blue Diamond, like if I had 600,000 followers I'd be double presidential tomorrow. Like, I get that, you know, I totally get that. I think that the struggles are not present, they're just different. So I know that my retention is definitely not as good as you. And I really wish at the beginning someone probably could have told me like, hey, maybe you shouldn't enroll actually so many people per month, because I didn't know. And I was just letting people sign themselves up. And I was like, oh, okay. But then actually supporting those people and actually teaching them has been such a hurdle for me. And as much as I try to come up with systems and be organized and like, you know, put people in places that can really help me, it's been so hard. And I hate to think that there are people out there that I've sold oils to that haven't even opened them because they didn't open their email that I sent them, or they entered in a different phone number that wasn't active that I texted and they never got it, or, you know, any of the advocates that may have contacted them from my team that they didn't know and they ignored. So I'm sure that like some of these things happen on other teams, but I definitely think we have a extra special amount of circumstances that we have to face with growing at such an exponential rate. You know, when someone is enrolling at the rate that I was, you know, a lot of my people on my team are in social media because they're my friends. So a lot of my downlines are in social media, and it's easy for me to train them, but trying to train people that are not in social media is a different ball game as well. You know, we usually have to come up with leaders that are teaching on a ground level, or now I know we're all kind of teaching in person or online classes, but teaching classes has never been really how I gained my following or how I gained my enrollments to begin with. It was really just educating through the products and my stories. So it's been, you know, not only the hurdle of trying to reach out to enrollments and advocates and get everybody trained, but also all of us living all over literally the world. We have, you know, an advocate in Iceland. We have people in Spain. It's yeah, I know, I see the eyebrows raising, exactly. And the times of day are completely different. We have an EU leader that leads a EU, you know, Zoom call, and we have one in New Zealand and Australia. The same thing. We try to do the best that we can, but with our team growing at such a quick rate, we really didn't even have enough time to not only, you know, educate ourselves enough on the product, but also to start implementing the business in a way that we could then teach to duplicate to others. So I think that definitely the grass isn't always greener. It's just about watering your own grass. And I definitely have met a lot of really, really successful people in both direct sales and multi-level marketing since then that I'm like, wow, you know, like it's really, really hard work, and it's really, really amazing to see people do really well at this. And regardless of whether you have 600,000 followers or 6,000, it's still going to be hard work. It definitely doesn't take it out of it. You're just like scrambling, you know, every month is a new month and you're like, oh, okay, let's do this all over again. I definitely think that it's work that I love doing, and that's why I've kept doing it. I think that it's great work. But yeah, I would love it if you guys had any questions for me. I can kind of keep going and talking about any of those things. I know a lot of the questions people like to ask me are kind of like, you know, how do you grow your social media? And I'm happy to answer any of those questions that you guys would like to ask. You know, I tell my team all the time that if you even have a couple thousand followers and you have 50 people watching you in your stories, and those 50 people may be people that you've even met in your real life and actually know you, you have a a class of 50 people. So like, you know, getting in your stories and teaching classes. Plus I just think it's a little bit less intimidating to get in the virtual space and teach online, teaching your stories, teaching your IGTV. This is what, I mean, that's what I was doing when I first started. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to teach this essential oils class in my IGTV. And I think it's great practice. And I think mostly just getting out there and putting yourself out there is really the work that makes the difference of this whole business model. Is really just us being confident and being like, this is what I love and use authentically, whether you're watching or not. But since you're here, I'll watch. Does someone have a question? I hear them unmuting themselves. Or maybe that was just someone that wasn't muted. Yeah, I'm happy to also go into kind of a little bit more about what I was doing in my stories. My upline, she always talks about how she loved how I came in and I was like, I got this big kit of doTERRA and I'm gonna learn how to use it all. Do you guys want to learn with me? And I was just pretty much like trying all the oils in all the different ways. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love doing this and I love doing that. And that's really how a lot of people started to come on board with me, because they were like, whoa, I didn't know you could use the oils like that. And I was like getting little bits of knowledge here and there, and then like trying them out, and I was cooking with them, and I was brushing my teeth with them, and I was making toothpaste, and I make a lot of my own products. So I was showing people how easy it is to make a lot of their own products. And a lot of my audience was really, really interested in that. I think one of the things with essential oils is that sometimes they can seem a little like visceral, a little like airy fairy, like, oh, okay, cool, but they're on the shelf and I don't know what to do with them. So unless we really implement them, and the stories was a really easy place for me to just be like, oh, here's a DIY deodorant. And then people were like, whoa, I didn't know you could make your own deodorant. And I think, especially here on the Hawaiian Islands, it's such a good cause to be not buying plastic all the time. So I really, really liked that aspect of it too, just working harder to make my own products. And as you guys all know, less endocrine disrupting substances and less money. So I really liked all of that. I'm happy to totally talk more about that too. But if you guys have any questions, I'll let you actually ask them before I just keep going.
We didn't get any questions yet, but I just got like a comment, like, I love the realness. I love that the whole grass isn't green. I've said this before. I think Hannah and I met the first time when we had, I forget what it was called, but it was like a post-convention tour or something at Wailea Marriott, for those of you guys who were there. And I spoke that night, and I said, and I didn't even know her yet, and I was like, I wouldn't want to be Hannah. Like, I'm Liza. I'm happy. And I was talking about strengths, but I think the same thing goes for the business. Like, what you've had to overcome. It's not, I mean, it sounds all great in theory, but you have had to work really, really, really hard, and to keep up with the pace of your team growing, and now kind of coming back and overcoming some of the challenges. And Kanani just said she loved the realness, and I just want to stress that you're so consistent. Like, I would love for you to talk a little bit about that with your education through your stories and stuff. Like, how critical do you find that to support your people?
Okay. Yeah, I love that question. I loved your talk. Liza won me over with her talk. If you guys were there, and I'm seriously so awkward at these like gatherings, because I'm like, why do people know me? Why are people looking at me? And that was pretty much my whole social media journey as well. But it was like kind of like all happening all over again when I came into doTERRA, and I'm like, no. Yeah. So totally. So I'd say, as far as the consistency goes, I think you mean with like actually posting and in my stories. Yeah, it's also been a struggle as far as that goes. I've had to really back off, actually, which, yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but I'm trying to really give my team the space to do their own work before I continue. So I'm really kind of, and it's a hurdle I face, because a lot of the people that I enroll really just want to see me on Instagram. They don't want to come to Zoom calls. They don't want to text or call or talk on the phone. They just want to watch their social media and have me teach them how to make something. And so as much as I'm, getting new enrollments from doing product education in my stories, I'm also teaching my pre-existing customers. So that's my continuing education. So it has been a hurdle, and I can definitely feel the last couple months of me not being as consistent with mostly doTERRA making products, that's been a little bit of a hurdle for the team, but I'm really trying to not mother hen everybody and just let everybody see that everybody can handle it on their own. Because for a sustainability factor, I think that, you, Liza, I think you've said you enroll 5 to 25 people a month. And with that many people, I'm sure you're able to really connect with, maybe a lot of them, possibly all of them. Sometimes I've enrolled 150 people a month. It's just not possible for me to connect with that many people, especially when they're not located geographically close to me and they don't want to talk. They just want to, again, see me in my stories like they are typically watching. They don't know anything about doTERRA. They don't know that it's multi-level marketing. They don't know about LRP, and they don't necessarily care. So it's pretty hard. I can't go knock on their door and be like, hey, do you want to talk about LRP? We try, but it's just not always going to work, and it's not always going to be enough. So I think for the sustainability factor, being able to enroll at a lower amount and really put a lot of effort into trying to connect with those people, and therefore they're on LRP and they're stoked to be, because they know why. And me telling them their why every once in a while in the stories, I can't get in my stories every single day. And even if I did, you're only going to reach a fraction of your audience, and a different fraction every day. So if I put one thing in my stories on Monday, by Tuesday, I'm going to have people being like, what? What's that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Because they didn't see yesterday's story. So you can never tell, in the beginning, I was like, these are the 3 ways to sign up. And then we have to do that. We'd have to do that all the time. And it would be pretty redundant for the people that do watch the stories pretty often. So, it's just it's kind of trial and error. It's figuring it all out. At the end of the day, I'll never be mad that I learned, more about this industry, that I did a lot of personal development, that I've learned so many things, and I still have so far to go. But I've really, really been able to invest a lot of myself into my business this last year and a half. I saw that somebody asked how long I've been there, a year and a half. With doTERRA. So yeah, I just think it's been such a good learning resource for me. And at the same time, I know that the way I've built is not necessarily going to be for longevity. So, it's been great, and I would love to continue doing it, but I'm definitely not going to be attached to the result, just because I really hope to empower my builders with the strength to do it themselves, instead of, me doing it for people. A lot of my builders have definitely done a great job, and, there are other ones that I've probably totally handicapped, because at the end of every month I have volume to move, and where are you going to put it, so yeah. I would definitely say that's definitely getting down to the nitty gritty, and a lot of this, the real stuff. But if any of you guys have seen my Instagram, you've seen that I don't hold back. I'm a natural oversharer. So you guys asked for it. Open book.
I
Yeah.
totally love that though about you, that you are so much you. And when I met you for the first time in person, it's the same. And I think that that's something that's pretty rare. I think a lot of people in social media can get really sucked into painting the picture of what, I feel like a lot of influencers and people that are successful in multi-level market media do. It's all the perfect pictures, all the perfect, and it's so not reality. And I love that you just are so who you are, and you really put yourself out there for things that you're passionate about, that other people might be a little whoa. You're this is me, take it or leave it,
Yeah, that's definitely true. I know. I see, a lot of those accounts, and it must be nice to be able to take so many good pictures and have a perfect outfit that always matches your background. That would be great to be one of those people. I'm definitely just not one of those people, which I think is probably one of the reasons I grew so fast in the beginning. And also one of the biggest reasons I've probably at sometimes felt like, oh, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, because you just get a lot of backlash and you get a lot of opinions, and you just kind of feel like, wow, I don't know that I need all of this actually. And, again, just me not necessarily coming into it and being a business, it wasn't a business for me. So, sometimes I have to ask myself, like, is it worth my mental, emotional health for me to be in this space? Because it doesn't always make me feel the best to be there. So I've definitely battled over the time. It's a push pull. You're like, naturally, I really love to be open. And there's a lot of people on the internet that would love to throw stones at anybody who's really open, which is sad and scary. And hopefully there'll be, more people that are just real and open. But, social media is a pretty shallow place, unfortunately.
There was one question that just came up about like Facebook or Instagram. Do you have any I mean, obviously you're an Instagram influencer. Any feedback on that question?
I mean, a little bit. I did, Facebook the same way I did Instagram, and my Facebook was for writing my stories and posting my pictures when I was like traveling and living abroad. I never used it for a business. I think I might have had a business yoga page, but I am just like, remotely helpless when it came to like being business savvy. So it was like, oh, okay, I'll try that. And then it didn't really go anywhere. So it was the same thing with my Instagram, just super organic. Like I just really like to write and post my pictures and my practice. So from a business standpoint, I don't feel like I can like accurately answer that. I feel like there's, a little bit, I've noticed a few things with, my team uses like WhatsApp a lot to connect. I think WhatsApp is great, especially since our team is all over the world. It's one like free call, text, email. It doesn't lower the quality of photo or video. So people really, other nationalities always have it downloaded. So it's a really easy way for me to like Google the country code of someone that signed up and then reach out to them and put them in my phone and then find them that way and then get them in our groups. I know a lot of people have Facebook groups too, which I just noticed in Messenger the other day that you can actually continue to scroll up and see old posts where in WhatsApp you can't. But I don't know if there's a limit to how many people can be in a like instant messenger group. You guys probably would know that better than me. I haven't been proficient in Facebook in years.
Anything?
Yeah, everything's a balance, right? I see the push pull, give energy. Yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely think, ultimately, our business is all our business. So I always think like if I want to get to a certain place, like I'm not going to feel resentful. I'm going to be happy that I can help my team to a certain point. And I'm always going to be like, this is because I want to be at that certain place. But if somebody wants to go above and beyond, then like that's up to them. So I always think that you should have like some kind of boundaries so that you don't feel like, oh, this person's taking it because this business, because we're all intertwined and we can all start to look at our best friend and be like, can you pull your own weight? I'm hustling over here, because especially in the beginning when people aren't seeing the money coming in and like you're the, upline, it's hard because they're like, I'm going to go work and make $20 an hour. I'm not trying to do this, teach classes every week and not see any money for it. So it's definitely, trickier to understand in the beginning, but it's like that slow drip. It's that one block at a time to build your house. It's not going to happen overnight. So, I really think trying to just like hold people's hand as much as possible until you know that you have that hardline boundary. And then you're like, okay, gotta make a plan, have a plan in place so that I don't feel like used. And then maybe there's trouble in our like friendship as a result, so those can always be tricky dynamics, but lots of tough conversations, which I always think are always a great way to grow too. It's actually one of the things I love most about this business is just learning how to communicate with people, because it really is like the woes of all of our lives across the board, no matter what you do for work. And we like learn to communicate in this business because you have to be so precise and really know that what you mean is coming across as you mean it. So yeah,
a couple of
Why?
that I just like all like struck me like the last time we hung out was, you kind of mentioned it already, but just how you're gonna do something for as long as it feels good and right for you. You've been poor before and you'll be poor again. And like, yes, the money is great. You know, think your parents, right, are one of your platinum qualifiers. Yeah. Which is so
Yeah.
super cool. And like the fact that you help them create this residual income. And then, so that really struck me. Like, I was like, wow, like that's really big. Cause I know, knowing what I make now and never think I would make this much money, that's a really big statement and shows like where your integrity is. And then the other thing was that you're very pretty adamant, I bet, with some restructuring and some critical, you know, placements, you would probably be presidential, but you're pretty steadfast that your team's not ready to be presidential, and you're not gonna just help somebody, because you probably could in a month or two help to grow another platinum, but is that really going to be what's best for your community? So I thought that really struck me a lot.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, first of all, one of my hardline boundaries has always been never do it for the money. If you're doing something for the money, like, it's just never going to be authentic, and it's going to be something you're going to do short term. You're going to do it like, oh, I need to pay rent today. I'll do that one thing, and then I'm never going to do it again because I hate doing it. You know, if you hate doing the work, it's just, you're never going to do it. So I really try to stay in my flow and not be too, because when you start to force the flow, things can feel really bad energetically for you, but also for anybody around you, for anybody on your team. So if you're just really like forcing, I feel like there's definitely a time to know when it's time to just like let go. And sometimes when you do, you'll notice that like it's actually coming back to you, right? I see heads nodding. You guys are like, yeah, I know that. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Yeah, being able to, you know, help my parents. I always tell my dad it's a return on his original investment in my business. Being able to help my parents has obviously been amazing. Yeah, my dad tells me every day, you know, how less stressed he is and everything. So that's been great. And you know, obviously feels so good. And I'm also like, okay, dad, but don't get attached. I'm like, you never know.
I love this question though that did come up. Like, why did you make the choice to not make a separate IG account and just use your own for doTERRA?
Totally. I saw that one. So mostly because I don't want to manage two Instagram accounts. But also because I have a personal Instagram account. It's not a business account, and it's everything that encompasses my life. So when I start to take a smaller audience over to one place, I feel like that's more like continuing education, which is totally cool, especially if you really want to put in the work to do it that way. I feel like I would lose a lot of my potential enrollments. And also I feel like from the beginning of my account, I've been really like, if you don't want to be here, please don't be. You know, that's been, again, just like another one of my super hardline boundaries. I'm like, this was never a business. This wasn't, you know, I'm not begging anybody to stay in my space. This was really just me sharing my story and coming on and doing yoga and acro yoga. And, you know, I don't really want people that don't want to be here anyway, because they're probably just going to like come and troll me. So, you know, if you don't like it, kind of like, there's the door kind of thing, which is not going to be everybody's philosophy, but it's just mine on that. And I definitely think that, I think that it's worked out well. I know that there are other people that like to keep it separate, and I totally get that.
I've said a lot though to people, I wish I didn't separate mine, because now I feel like, I mean, I feel like I don't want to do too much oils on my personal page, because I do have my business page, and then my business page, I do so much, you know, business and oil stuff. I wish I had kept it together, because I feel like it feels more natural. Like, this is how I use the oils and also what my life is like. But, you know, it is what it is. So
Yeah,
if I could
jury
go
is
back, I probably would change that. I think this is a great question. Do you have assistants?
out. No, I wish I did. I have tried to hire assistants before and they just didn't work out. I'm also a Virgo. I'm super just like anal and OCD and a control freak. Like I don't hand over my Instagram account to a business manager, and I've been approached a million times to do that. And the bottom line is like, I know that they're going to push me to do things that I don't want to do. They want me to create better content. They want me to do brand partnerships with brands that I don't want to work with. And so I just want to keep my account as authentic as it always has been. And that's pretty much, yeah, I mean, I definitely should have a back end assistant with doTERRA. Someone who's a lot more like computer savvy than me, but I haven't found that person yet. So maybe one day we'll see if I can relinquish control and let them have it. And then I'll be like, what? You moved that person there?
I'm not a Virgo, but I am a control freak, and I have just recently gotten an assistant, and it has changed my life. So we'll talk about this.
Wow, I can't wait to talk about that. I love how many Virgos there are in this call. There's a lot of Virgos on my team too. I think Virgos are all kind of OCD, anal control freaks, and also doTERRA. Like, you know, we have our own businesses. We're empowered women. We want to like have the control and the reins in our hands. We don't want to feel like, oh, we need someone's, you know, permission, or we want to, you know, so I totally get it. I think a lot of business women are Virgos, and also and in doTERRA leaders.
All right, you guys. Do you guys have any more questions for Hannah? Just a lot of feedback in here. My mom said that it's so nice that you helped your parents. And Kanani just said, it's so true. It's a pipeline that you need to do the work at one block at a time. People can help you. I love that doTERRA's compensation plan encourages us, right, to sort of share the wealth, if you will, and share the people that we enroll. But I also think that if people don't take accountability for their own businesses and sort of are passive in it, it just is yucky, and it just doesn't feel good on either side, I think. So definitely tricky. All right. Anybody else? Oh, my mom. Yes, you're welcome.
I thought your mom might know a thing or two about that. Amazing to be on your daughter's team.
Danny asked, Virgo in Western astrology or Vedic, which I don't know.
I think Western, but I'm not super into astrology. I just had my chart read about a year ago for the first time. So
Cami asked, what would you say to somebody that has like 10 people watching their stories?
I mean, I think that any practice is good. And I think that 10 people might be more people than you can get in a room in Maui, especially on Maui right now, right? So I would say mostly just for the practice. And honestly, I think, I mean, obviously, you know, coming from me, I think that mostly if it's just, I don't plan out stuff. I'm not like, oh, today I'm going to make a post on DIY. Very, very rarely do I do that. I'm literally going about my day and I'm like, oh, I'm going to add lime to this smoothie. I'll film that real quick. Or, oh, I need some hand soap, so I'll make that real quick in a story. So it's really just like, and I think anybody who looks at my stories can probably tell like, oh yeah, she definitely didn't plan this, you know, but that's just, you know, that's just kind of how it's always been. So I just kind of keep it that way. And I think that that's one of the reasons why it's been pretty successful for me. It's like, oh, you know, it's not planned, it's not perfect. And people are so used to that in the social media space that like, might as well be the black sheep and be like, this is just me. And it might not be as pretty as you want, but like, there's so many filters now and you can like learn so much stuff and you can tag all the things and use stickers. And if you're into that, you can start getting more and more creative in that direction. And then you might get more people watching your stories because you're like, oh, cool. Like I learned something new.
Didn't you just go post about that you just learned about filters too?
I did. I just learned about filters and I love them. I am always the last one to the party, you guys. I'm typing my handle for you.
Well, if that's it, I just want to tell you how grateful I am that you stayed up late for us and you came to just share your story. Real authentic you are. I really feel grateful to call you a friend, and
Aw.
hope that you know that myself and this community is always here to support you however we can. I mean, I just feel like the more we live in abundance mindset in this space and know that there's, you know, enough to go around, and enough for everyone, and that, you know, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Any last words or anything? Oh, here, Danny, one more. Did you have a huge following before you started posting? Yes.
Yes.
Well, now all the questions are coming in, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me on, Liza. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope you guys, if you see me around, come up and say hi. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me. Like Liza said, I love that. I would love to work as a community. We have a small little Maui team growing, but if you guys ever want or need any help or support, we're here and we're happy to help in any way.
I do want you to answer this one question real
Yeah,
quick.
totally. Yeah.
Michael asked, and she's actually been following you for years. She said, why did you decide to change your name? Was that a hard decision for you to make?
You know, I can split pretty quickly. I can flip pretty quickly. So I read an article that was about the word gypsy. My previous username was Gypsy On, and I read and it had been since the start of my account, which was like June 2016 was really when my account started gaining a following. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit hard because it's basically rebranding, and, you know, most branding experts would go against that. But like, that's the anarchist in me also being like, you know what, screw branding. I'm going to do what I want. So from someone in like marketing, a strategic marketer, they'd probably be like, never do that. But I am just like, again, just not attached. And I was also happy I'm always happy to just like pivot. And I think that that's kind of just was in my flow at the moment. So it was really the night before, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not attached to this handle. Like, it seems like there might be some truth to the derogatory term gypsy. So I'd like to just take a shift here. Which feels good, you know, when you're not locked into anything or anyone, just completely unattached, and you're like, you know what, either way, everything's going to be fine.
All right. Thank you guys. And as usual, okay, wait, hold on. We have to take a team pic. So let me back to gallery. Do this,
Yay, my red.
you guys could turn on your cameras to take a team. All right. First screen. We got 2 screens tonight. So keep smiling. Smile. And then one more. Keep smiling. You never know. You might make both. All right. Okay, so one more time to wrap it up. Hannah, thank you so much. I look forward to catching up with you, I think, on Friday. But seriously, really, thank you for sharing your space. And you guys, I couldn't believe it, but when Hannah moved here and I heard about her, I actually messaged her on Instagram and she answered me. Like, and so just really so genuine, so pure in terms of heart and integrity. And so if you have any other questions, reach out to her. Definitely follow her on Instagram. You'll learn a lot of DIY and maybe some yoga tricks that I'm definitely not trying at all. As usual, thank you for showing up for yourselves, for your communities, for your businesses, for everyone that you have welcomed into this space, and just really always for yourselves. Don't forget to register for convention if you haven't yet. Thank you. Love you all, and we'll see you all soon. Bye. Night, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Liza.
Bye.
Awesome.
Thank you.